I am Shanu Kumar. I am from KVCIPM Chapha. I made my exhibit under Rashtriya Bal Vaigyanik Pradarshani. My sub-theme is disaster management. So, I have made an amphibious house. So, what does it mean? An amphibious house is a type of residential structure that is designed to adapt the sudden rising and falling of water levels. So, the main purpose of this amphibious house is to adapt the sudden rising and falling of water levels. It ensures the safety of all those people who live in flood-prone areas. My house is not a floating house, so there is a big difference between amphibious house and floating house. Amphibious house can adapt the change and will return to the ground as the flood water recedes, but floating house always remain in the water. There are so many benefits of this amphibious house, like flood risk mitigation. What does it mean? It means that amphibious house can help in reducing the risk of damage to the flood-prone areas. Second, safety. Amphibious house ensures the safety to all those indigenous people who live in flood-prone areas and have to leave their ancestral land due to flood. So, by constructing amphibious house, they do not have to leave their ancestral land. Third, fast construction. In addition to wood and steel, most of the floating houses are constructed with prefabricated components. So, in general, the floating houses or amphibious house, the construction of these houses are generally sped up. It takes about half of the time to complete an amphibious house compared to an ordinary house. Fourth, transportation ease. We generally saw that for constructing roads and buildings, nowadays a large number of houses and trees have to cut or destroy. So by constructing amphibious house, a good thing about this amphibious house is that they can transport it easily from one place to another through water body. So by constructing this, no house or trees have to be destroyed. Fourth, cost effective. If we see, it is 20 to 30% cheaper to build an amphibious house as compared to an ordinary house. As if we remove some certain components and elements as compared to these posts, it is too much cheaper. And the most important thing about my amphibious house is that it is sustainable. As we working for science and technology for sustainable future, this house is sustainable as it supports energy efficiency, rainwater harvesting, water conservation, low ecosystem disruption, and deforestation reduction. Now, if we see about its working and the principle upon it work, my amphibious house generally work on two basic principles: Archimedes principle and buoyancy force. What does it mean? Archimedes principle states that a body immersed in a fluid subjected to an upward force equal to the weight of displaced fluid. So, during a sudden rise in water, the house will be lifted up by the water, or if the flood water recedes, then the house will return to the ground. So, this is the amphibious house. And the other thing I want to say about it, that the materials used for the construction. So, you can see I use two concrete blocks, autoclaved erected concrete block to make it base. I use two PVC pipes to give it beam, two PVC pipe to give it mooring posts, and two PVC T to give it the structure. Now, why I use the autoclaved erected concrete blocks? So the concrete blocks have too many benefits. If you know, the AAC block, autoclaved erected concrete block, it is made up of ash, aluminium powder, and lime powder. So there are so many benefits of concrete block, like it supports thermal insulation, it is soundproof, it is fire resistant, it is termite proof, it is eco-friendly, it is lightweighted. The density of this concrete block is about 650 to 850 kilogram per meter cube. So this the development of amphibious house by this block is too much comfortable. If we talk about reality, the construction of this amphibious house can be varied. How? It can be constructed by the urban areas and rural areas. In urban areas, this house would be made up of concrete blocks, wood and steel. But in rural areas, this house would be made up of bamboo, wood, mud, because these are the lightweighted. If we talk about Bihar, that every year hundreds of floods come in Bihar, the houses would be made up of bamboo and mud. So I will show you the live working of this exhibit. Suppose this is flood water. As you see, as the flood water started to rise, the house would also started to float. As you can see, the house is floating. This is how it works in real life. As the flood water started to rise, the house would also started to rise. This amphibious house can rise up to 3 meters. In excessive flood, it can rise up to 10 meters. So this is amphibious house. This idea is not new to world, but certainly not introduced in India. So it is to have introduced in India. As you know, like in Japan, there are hundreds of earthquakes come every year. So they adapt the houses to earthquake resistant. So why not we adapt the houses like flood resistant houses? So this is necessary in India. This would be the evolution of houses in India. Thank you.